Do you want science-backed strategies that will help you close more sales? Make sure you click that subscribe button and hit that like button if you want to be notified each and every time I release a new video, which is weekly by the way, on how you can sell more faster. Hi, I'm Sean Casemore and I've been studying the habits of top sales performers now for nearly 2 decades, 20 years, and I've seen my clients close millions and millions of dollars. So listen up. We're going to jump right into it. Science-backed strategy number 1 is all about repeatability. You've seen the research out there that suggests it takes up to 18 different touch points to get a prospect's attention and to get them to respond. Now, it's not always 18, sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more. But here's the point. What tends to happen in sales is we're not sure if it's going to be 6 times, 10 times, 20 times. So we tend to fall off track and we wander around trying to get in touch with people and we give up too soon. So top sales performers, what they realize is that 18 is the average. So they need to map out a plan for each and every prospect to touch them 18 times. If the prospect responds at 6, great. If it takes 20, well, they just have to add 2 more. But by creating that plan, they make sure it's a consistent approach, a repeatable approach for each and every prospect. And what that allows them to do is avoid their own desire to work outside of the realm of reality and of what they know, because we all get distracted and off course. So you want to incorporate repeatability and prospect planning into your prospecting. As human beings, we have a desire to connect with other people. So when you're in sales, that might seem great. You get to connect with a lot of people. But here's the problem. This desire to connect doesn't have any filters. So if we're given a pile of leads to follow up on, we tend to follow up on all of them. And science tells us that our desire will be that we will continue to follow up over a long period of time to try and build that connection when it may not make any sense at all to connect. You and I both know that chasing prospects that will never buy from us is not something we want to do. So top performers identify in advance of connecting with any prospects, what are the key criteria of those that buy from them? They do that by studying where they've been successful in the past. What is the demographic of the buyer they typically deal with? What are the conversations and questions they typically have? What are the needs of those buyers? And they build out this pre-qualification, if you will, and then they apply it. So my suggestion to you would be, when it comes to taking leads and trying to work through qualification, vet leads before you put any effort into it against your pre-qualification criteria, or if you will, a profile of your ideal customer, and then focus your time and energy on those ideal targets versus everyone. You're going to save yourself time and you're going to be more successful in closing because you're pursuing the very customers that you've had success in closing before. The third science-backed strategy is what I call the rule of 3. Nobody likes to be rejected. Of course, in sales, you have to have thick skin, and over time we get used to being rejected, but that doesn't mean we like being rejected. So what I created years ago was what I call the rule of 3. If and when you're rejected by somebody, maybe it's at the point of you try to call them and they don't want to take your call even though they committed to doing so. Maybe it's at the point of proposal and you lose the opportunity to work with them. They turn you down. Whatever the case is, when you get rejected, apply the rule of 3. And here's what it is. It's very simple. Contact 3 other people. That's it. They can be past clients, current customers, potential prospects, you name it, referral sources, it doesn't matter. Make sure each and every time that you are rejected, right? And you'll know when those times are because you'll hang up the phone or you'll walk into the meeting and go, oh, right? That's when rejection happens. Immediately snap yourself out of it and apply the rule of 3. Right? Contact 3 other people. Why? Because it moves us out of that state of mind into a new conversation with somebody else where there may be new opportunity. That tends to reinvigorate us and it focuses our attention elsewhere. But here's what's even better. From those conversations, we create new opportunities. So what you're really doing is I think the saying is you're making lemonade out of lemons. Right? You're turning a situation that may not have been very positive into a positive one by reaching out to additional people each and every time you're rejected. Number 4, if you've ever spent time trying to motivate yourself or studying human motivation, what you'll learn, or what you already know, is that motivation comes from within. right? So how I become motivated may be very different than how you become motivated. How I stay motivated may be very different than you. There are some common things that we can do, but it becomes very personal when it comes right down to it. And sales is about staying motivated. It's not about getting motivated. Anybody can go into a Tony Robbins event and get motivated, but when you leave, what happens after time? It's very difficult to stay motivated. And again, as a sales professional, that's necessary. So what I suggest you do is push yourself in everything you do. Now, I'm not saying take risks that could hurt you or harm you, but I'm saying take situations that come across and do things that are outside your comfort zone. If you don't like picking up the phone to make a cold call, pick up the phone to make a cold call. If you don't want to walk up at a networking event and shake somebody's hand, do it anyways. In most of these cases, nothing bad is going to happen. And as you probably know, the more you do these things, the less they seem risky, the less they seem uncomfortable. You may not enjoy them after a while, but there's no anxiety or anticipation around doing it. You just say, well, I have to make a cold call, I'm going to go call. I'm at an event, I'm here anyways, I might as well go talk to the people I came here to talk to. So you always have to have this mindset of pushing yourself to do things you wouldn't normally do, specific to your role, right, and your career choice. But by doing so, we tend to build internal confidence, because the next time we come across this situation, it won't be something we're uncomfortable doing. This last tip is based on a study that was done by Microsoft probably several years ago now, but the point of the study was Microsoft was taking a look at attention span. And what they found through studies is that, as you might imagine, the attention span of human beings has dropped. Now, we're not talking general attention span, we're talking 100% of attention span. So for example, if I was to yell in the middle of a crowded room, fire, I would have everybody's attention for a very brief period of time. And after a period of seconds, people would start to scream, run, some people would look to me for an answer, right? There would be different reactions. So when you think about attention span, I'm talking 100% attention. What the study found is that human beings, those that participated in the study, their attention span, the 100% I'm talking about, had diminished to 8 seconds. So here's the case. When you're dealing with somebody, especially a prospect or somebody you don't know that well, you have to apply the 8-second rule, meaning in the first 8 seconds that you connect with them, you have a conversation with them, you better be saying something that gets and keeps their attention. So if you spend 8 seconds talking about you and your history and where you were born or your division or your education or your degree, is not going to get you anywhere. You have to figure out what is the language and the questions that I can use that will get and keep people's attention, because you literally have 8 seconds to do so. And if you do it correctly and you can spark their interest, now you've got something you can move the conversation forward with. But if you miss, chances are that conversation won't move forward and the person will either hang up or walk away. If you've enjoyed these 5 science-backed strategies for selling more, make sure you click that like button, or you can comment below if you have other strategies that you found work well and are science-backed, right? They're based on human behavior and you've learned through experience that work. If you spent any time in sales like I have, you'll know that next to prospecting and closing, follow-up is critically important. If you're interested, I've included my 18 scripts for follow-up that convert down below. You'll see a link, you can click on it, it'll take you to a free resource. These are proven scripts that myself and my clients have used, and we've had tremendous success at being able to follow up and convert prospects over to customers just through these different follow-ups. Make sure you like and subscribe and click that little button, that little bell, to be notified on the next video we release. Now, these science-backed strategies for selling are great, but they're not that effective if you don't have some fundamental skills. So if you'd like to learn what some of the fundamental selling skills are that you should be focused on, make sure you check out our next video right here.